Brush out the clouds and cheer up and put on a happy face. Deck the gloomy mask of tragedy, it's not your style. You look so good, you'll be glad you decided to smile. Pick up pleasant outlook, stick out that noble chin. Wipe up that full of doubt look and slip out a happy grin. And spread sunshine all over the place. And put on a happy face. Gray skies are gonna clear up and put on a happy face. Brush out the clouds and cheer up and put on a happy face. If you're feeling cross and bakerish, don't sit and whine. Think of banana split and licorice and you'll do fine. I know a boy so gloomy, he never laughed or sing. He wouldn't listen to me, and now he's a mean old thing. So spread a sunshine all over the place, and put on a happy, put on a happy, put on a happy face. Thank you.
Good morning, Yaron.
Good morning.
And happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
What a wonderful song, right?
I love it. It's going to clear up, so we can put
it speaks to our understanding of our prowess, is that the right word, as a mystical spiritual power, right? That we can put on a happy face and the sun will clear up. Whether it does or not externally, it doesn't matter because it's what goes on internally that matters. So speaking of that, I'm happy to see each of you that's here today. Welcome to a rainy Sunday in Los Angeles, which unfortunately has become somewhat of the norm. But we're going to create. Philip loves it, so that's all that matters in Philip's world. But yet, because he loves it in his world, it's magnifying our world as well. So that causes us to put on a happy face. There we go. Well, I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and it's my pleasure to have you here today. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and a big hello to each of you in the room, as well as to those of you that are watching us online. We had several that had reached out and said they would be watching online today because they didn't want to brave the elements of the water coming from the sky. But I trust to know the faces that we're seeing in the audience. But I trust to know that we're all in the perfect and right place, experiencing and expressing the divine in all of its magnificence and its glory. As a community, we come together virtually as well as literally, as we're doing today, as well as additionally virtually, to celebrate the power of the presence of the divine that expresses itself by means of each one of us. We use the science of mind, which is a philosophy, a faith, the way of life by Dr. Ernest Holmes, as a tool to engage and empower ourselves to make life better, if you will. And what we mean by that is using our mind in a way to allow it to both reflect our divinity, and our divinity has the qualities of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And so as long as we reflect those and use our mind intentionally to make decisions, to make choices in life that are propagating good in our life, that indeed will be our experience, because we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law, meaning that it responds to us by corresponding. So therefore, if we choose to put on a happy face, then it responds. It didn't, but it was going to respond. I thought I was a key to play the song. If we put on a happy face, then we indeed we didn't rehearse that, so it works. We will in fact get a happy face in response. I'm going to give you guys a moment just to say hello to each other, and let's bring the energy all together in the room. So say hi. Feel free to namaste if you'd like to do that. So glad that we are getting to say hello. I would like to share with you, before we move into our morning ritual, our New Thought text for the day. Hopefully all of you are getting those. It goes out every morning at 7:30, and if you're not, you can go to our website, csl-la.org, and sign up for it. Today's quote is from one of the beloveds that is part of the history of the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles by the name of Reverend Marion Moon. And she writes, "What is spiritual power? It's energy with tremendous potency. This energy force is what causes things to happen. It is universally present everywhere and in every person. Its potential is without limit, and each of us possesses enough of it to accomplish whatever we require for our happiness and for our success." So I welcome you here today to open your mind to having more success and happiness in life, which is a result of using our spiritual power. We're going to open our service with a ritual called Calling in the Light. Many of you are familiar with it, and Yaron's going to play the music underneath right now, and I will read through it, light the candles, and then do a reading with a spiritual mind treatment. And so we perform this ceremony called Calling in the Light to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning, whether we're here in person or online or watching it at a later date, an expanded conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. So as we feel the vibrations shift during this experience, may we become ever more aware of the light of life that exists in and as all of life, which includes you and it includes me. So we shall use the letters of the word light today for our ritual to create an opportunity for us each to embrace our light in a more expansive way. Light, as we all know, is spelled L-I-G-H-T. L, light the candle. Stands for life. In the book, The Science of Mind, life is defined as the animating principle of being that enters something that makes everything live. I stands for individuality. Dr. Holmes states, "Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you." My favorite quote. So during this time together, may we each embrace our uniqueness in a greater way and share it with the world. And let's make an intention to do that today. And that we share our uniqueness with ease and with grace. G stands for grace. In metaphysics, grace is defined as the givingness of spirit to its creation. It's not a special law, but a specialized one. Meaning the only way we experience it is through the recognition of it. And we do that right now. H stands for heaven. In this sense, heaven is not a physical destination, but a state of happiness. Heaven is within. It revolves around us. It's a result of that atmosphere, the vibrational frequency of conviction which our thought awakens within us. T is for transformation, spiritual transformation. It's a fundamental change in one's person's sacred or spiritual life. In psychology, spiritual transformation is understood within the context of an individual's meaning system, especially in relation to concepts of the sacred or ultimate concern. And so today, may we each experience transformation as we consciously experience and express our light in a more empowered way. As we look at the flickering flame of the candle, I invite us all to bring all of those components of LIGHT together, and with intention and purpose, assign to this light it being the healing candle. Healing in metaphysics is the act of holing, WHOLING. It's the acknowledgement of the oneness that exists. It's a revelation of the light of life, Holmes tells us. So I'd like for you to take a moment to think of anyone that you'd like to silently or audibly put into the light of the healing flame, and I invite you to call names should you desire. Edward Brown, Sherry Bazanis, Gwen Smiley, and the intent and purpose of calling in those names into the light is so that they may experience the eternal and everlasting light of the divine. I'd like for us to also bring in those whose names we don't know, who are experiencing conflict on our planet. To know that those that may feel unsafe in this moment, that safety arises within their heart. So I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And I affirm for each and every one of us that we acknowledge the light of the divine. We choose today to let this light, this power, this presence, to do its work through us as healing. Yes, in a physical sense, should that be called for within our being and body. But in a more transcendent way, a higher idea making itself known to, through, and as each one of us, and understanding that with this intention and dedication to holding the idea of this intention, we know that we know and affirm that the law of life responds to it as its nature and creates a corresponding effect here on our planet, in the universe, and propagates an action that unfolds in the lives of those on this planet, that then reflects its own nature of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And so those names that we spoke and the energy that we sent to those that we didn't call by name, we shall call them the divine. We feel a sense of comfort knowing that healing is unfolding by means of them. A transformation is indeed taking place. This brings us comfort, while also reminding us of our role and responsibility to be a conscious participant in the evolutionary nature of higher consciousness and using our mind with purpose. So we take a deep breath in and exhale, anchoring and centering ourselves. Another deep breath in and exhale together. And as we say, "And so it is," we shall sing together the song Calling in the Light.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling Repeat after me. I am love. I am peace in my heart. I am free. I am spirit. I am soul. All together we are whole. Calling in the light. Calling in the light. Calling in the light of love. Calling in the light. Calling in the light. Calling in the light of love. Calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
Nice. And so it is. Yaron, it's so nice to have you back.
Thank you. Always
Isn't
love
it?
to be in person.
We haven't seen you in person in a while.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And we've known each other for years. You know how much I love you and appreciate you. And
Very mutual.
I know. And you've been doing some really fun things, right? You were the guest artist, if I may have that part wrong, for Clive Davis's birthday party. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just a little small gig. And you've been visiting your mom in Israel.
That's correct.
Yeah. So what else is shaking?
All kinds
Not
of
to
things.
put you on the spot.
Did a little bit for the Houses of Miami, the Real Houses of Miami.
Oh.
And there's a couple of things in the
Good.
making. Yeah.
And then you're planning on some time in P-Town for the summer?
Yes.
So
Yes.
wonderful.
Meeting our friend Todd Alsop and some other.
I know our friend and musician Todd Alsop, who was just in Palm Springs doing his show, and then he's headed on tour too,
Yeah,
right? So we get some talent walking through the doors here, so wonderful. Well, thank you. I know that you always really love the selection, being able to select the songs you're going to sing on Sunday. And your own always takes such a unique twist to our theme for the month. And our theme for the month is the budding of brilliance. And when I sent that to him, you responded, and what was the term? You were like, you were like, that's rather esoteric. So I was like, duh. So what's the next song you have for us?
I'm going to do a Joni Mitchell song, which fits all subjects in the world.
Right, so, all right, cool. Take it away.
All right. Rows and flows of angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air, and feathered canyons everywhere. I looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snowed everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing where you feel every fairy tale comes real. I looked at life that way, but now it's just another show. Living, laughing, where you go. And if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds. I looked at life that way. Now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads and they say I'll change. But something lost and something's gained. Oh, living every day. I looked at life on both sides now. Win or lose, and still somehow it's life illusions I recall. I really don't know lie. I looked at life on both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
Exceptional. Beautiful. So beautiful. Such a pure rendition of that song. Thank you. I could feel your sharing your soul there. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I was sitting there, as I'm sure many of you were listening to the lyrics. Obviously not the first time any of us in the room, I'm sure, have heard those lyrics. But thinking, I immediately went into a state of judgment of like, well, why can't they write lyrics like that today? Like, Joni Mitchell should teach a master class, right? I'm like, well, isn't the song talking about looking at both sides? Maybe I can look at the other side of that, right? And then as she speaks of not knowing love, how we've all been there. And in our teaching, we talk about learning about love, both from the emotional aspect of love, but also love from the agape divine perspective of constantly reconnecting to our relationship, to the self-givingness of spirit. So thank you, an amazing selection. And how cool is it that Joni Mitchell's getting her, in today's terms, flowers today, right? Like, thank you, Brandy Carlisle, for making sure that's happening, but amazing, thank you. So this month, we are continuing the theme that we started last week, the budding of brilliance. It's very esoteric, I've heard, that theme. But I want us to break down the reason that I chose this theme is because I like to play with words. And if you look at the definition of the word budding, it's defined as, for a part of the body, if you will, becoming larger as part of the process of normal growth. Or it's beginning and showing signs of promise in a particular career or field. It also speaks to an asexual mode of producing new organisms in the process of becoming greater than it was before. I want to look at it from that lens, that we are as we become, by choice and by surrender and willingness to expressing more of our divinity and setting intention, that we indeed are becoming larger through our mindset of an acceptance of who we are as divine beings, and in so doing shall experience an expansiveness, a new outcropping, if you will, of our nature. Our nature, which is that of brilliance, if you will. That brilliance is considered light. And light, as we've already addressed today, is one of the qualities of the divine. It's all intertwined and interconnected. Last week in my message, I used a series of poetry to weave together representation, an example of the budding of brilliance as individuals shared their brilliance. I know it was a stretch in a way, and was probably, I'll just put it, was a different message, and I loved giving it. And the purpose of it was to show how not only do different poets express their brilliance in different ways, but that some speak to one and some it doesn't speak to others. It's just like art. And that is a good thing, because it shows that the universe is doing its part of us aligning with a resonance field of that which works for us. In Dr. David Hawkins' terms, it tells us that shows us where we're at in the evolution of consciousness in life itself. So I'm not going to use poetry today. Today, Lenore said, good. No, I'm just playing with you. I know you love fun. Today I'm not going to use poetry. I'm going to, with the best of my intentions, give birth to a new idea by using some old quotes and readings and some reflections that many of us have heard before, with the intention to shine light on our journey and to allow us to provide for ourselves a new perspective and a new state of mind of where we're at in the budding of our brilliance in life. I want to begin with a quote from Saint Hildegard of Bingen, who lived from 1078 to 1179. She was a German Benedictine abbess. Is that the right word? How to say that word? Abbess. Which was someone who ran an abbey, or she was a nun, who was a writer, philosopher, mystic, and a visionary during the Middle Ages. Imagine having your tombstone say a visionary during the Middle Ages. But anyway, what Saint Hildy wrote was this: "And it came to pass, when I was 42 years and 7 months old, that the heavens were opened and a blinding light of exceptional brilliance flowed through my entire brain. And so it kindled my whole heart and breast like a flame, not burning, but warming. And suddenly I understood the meaning of expositions of the books." I love this because it says to us that no matter where we are on the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, on the journey of our life, which so often we like to measure by experience or chronology, that we have the opportunity to open up and experience the brilliance that is there for us. And in today's world, like in many times in the world, there are times when that can be quite difficult because of events that are happening in the world on a global stage and or in a personal component of our own lives. For me, when that happens, I consciously and purposefully oftentimes listen to music. And I like to listen to music that really speaks to my heart, and I've been known, as I did this week, to listen to one song over and over and over and over again. Usually that's when I'm driving. I just got a new electric car and I wanted to play with the range on it. And so I took a road trip the other day, and which was so much fun, but as I'm prone to do, I listened to this song over and over and over again. And the title of the song is "What's Going On," originally by Marvin Gaye, but the rendition that I love is the Michael McDonald version. And it's just fabulous. And I want to share it with you today as a jumping off point for us to look at how we are intentionally letting the buds of our brilliance show up. Mr. Gay wrote, Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. And I think this is so fitting for today's world as well. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know, we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know, we got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Oh. Picket lines and picket signs don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see, what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? In the meantime, right on, baby. Right on, brother. Right on, babe. Mother, mother, everybody thinks we're wrong. Oh, but who are they to judge us simply because our hair's too long? Oh, you know, you got to find a way to bring some understanding here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see what's going on. We can clap for Marvin and for Michael McDonald and for me. So what speaks to me about this, the lyrics of this song, is it's an invitation, I believe, for us to take a self-inventory of what's going on in our mind, how we're letting the effect of the world, impact us in our own perspective, ultimately then being reason for how our experience of life is showing up. And are we allowing that to be the dominant force in how we view life? Or are we remembering that Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you and me? And because of that within us, we have the power to change our thinking and ultimately change our life. So often in our teaching, we hear that term, and I know I've been listening to it since I walked into the Church of Religious Science in 1982, thinking that the purpose of the Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life was to create this grand experience of life so that I could stand up and be proud of myself, of what I've manifested or created or co-created in life. And that is true in and of itself. But as I've grown in my understanding and application and spiritual awakening in life, I realize that change your thinking is really about the moment. It's about in that being able to stop and in the very moment make a different choice as to what's going on in my mind. Many of you know that one of my favorite quotes, it's not an Ernest Holmes quotes of all times, is by Gary Zukav, The Seat of the Soul. I can't tell you how many times I've used it, and I think it's appropriate in this morning, in this moment, as we're opening ourselves up to set the intention to have the budding of brilliance in our lives, to remember it and its content, and to also look at our inventory in life as to how we've grown from the first time we've heard this quote. Choice is the engine of our evolution, he writes. If you choose unconsciously, you will evolve unconsciously. If you choose consciously, you will evolve consciously. Choosing to evolve consciously is much better than unconsciously, and most often far less painful. Trust me, been there, done that, Zukav says. The power of choice is the greatest gift you've been given, second only to the gift of life itself. Today, I invite each of us, whether we're here in the room or online or watching at a later date, to ask yourself, what choices have you made in life that are bringing you both joy and maybe pain? And what choices have you been making about those choices? And what choices are you willing to make so that you can begin to find yourself in an environment of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening on your journey? I implore you and invite you and encourage you to make a decision, to make a choice that will support having a higher vibration of mind. It's that higher vibration of mind, which we've experienced here this morning already through lighting the candle, through acknowledging being with one another, seeing love in the eyes of each other, seeing individuals we haven't seen in a while and feel that comfort that comes up when we feel and acknowledge not only seeing each other, but the energy, the vibrational frequency of the resonance of love that exists in our beings. It's by choosing to have a higher vibrational state of mind that we can then create a shift in our own experience, but not only in our own experience, with intention for our planet. And if that's too much to take in, then we can begin to do that for our home environment, our neighbors, our neighborhood, the delivery people on our street, the postal workers, the fire police, the first responders, and the nearest hospital. I think as I read that, I think not only, I don't know where I know where you all live in life, but it may not be true in your world that not only is it the delivery people, but it's the robots that are delivering stuff. To look at that energy of the vehicle that's coming at me that doesn't have a person in it, may have a ham sandwich in it, but it doesn't have a person in it, right? But to know that behind that there is someone guiding and watching it, to bless it as opposed to curse it, which I've done quite frequently. Because the cursing isn't bringing the vibrational frequency I truly desire. The blessing does. Albert Einstein tells us that everything is energy, and that's all there is to it, and that we're all interconnected by this energy. I'm going to read to you one of my favorite articles by one of my peers named Dr. Petra Wells, who's a minister in Texas at the moment. And I've put this in our newsletter before, but I think it's also pertinent as to us taking this inventory today and recommitting to how we use our vibrations. It's titled, Living from a Higher Vibration. Dr. Petra writes, physicists are starting to come together around the notion that everything is created from some sort of vibrating energy. This is how we can get something out of nothing. Of course, others have known this for centuries. Countless shamans and spiritual teachers have talked about the need to raise our vibrational rate to that of love and peace. And that when we do that, something new emerges, different from what came before. It behooves us then to ask ourselves, what is the vibrational rate or frequency of our life? Fear, anger, distrust are all lower frequencies. So are negativity, complaint, and blame, and I'll probably add to that cursing the robot, right? She was going to say, when this is our primary conversation and thought pattern, we're definitely contributing to the lower vibrational rate of our own lives and those around us. On the other hand, isn't it nice to be around people who are energetic, positive, in love with life, and generally happy? That's because they're vibrating at a higher rate. This higher frequency is stimulating, engaging, and uplifting. Love, enthusiasm, joy, and even a positive sense of power all causes us to vibrate at a higher rate. The primary thing to remember is that this vibrational rate is not determined by what's outside. It's by what's inside. Neuroscientists tell us that it's much better not to let ourselves go into those negative states, but to rather keep our mind fixed on the positive, regardless of what's happening around us. In this way, we determine what's going on in our minds. What we focus on raises or lowers our vibrational rate. Thus, consciousness is cause. Now, it does seem to help when we not only become a generator of these higher frequencies, but also surround ourselves with people and places that vibrate at a higher rate. This helps reinforce our own vibration, and we can actually let it lift us higher. Just like we cannot let outside vibration get us down, we can consciously choose to be around and allow higher vibrations to lift us up. And there is mounting evidence from science, agreeing with what we've known from spirituality all along, that our vibration adds or subtracts, lifts or lowers the vibrational rate of the whole. It's like an orchestra that's in tune and playing together or being drugged down by instruments that are out of tune and out of step with the rest. What's this telling us? It's telling us that we have the opportunity to participate in the change that is unfolding around us and through us. And that you and I can make a decision as to how we vibrate. Do you ever stop and just feel yourself vibrating? Now, obviously, we've all had that experience when we've had too much caffeine, right? Bouncing off the walls. I used to have a real estate mentor that would say to me, I'm going to bring you in the car. And I would say, no, I'm in the car. She goes, oh, no, you're not. Your body's in the car. We're like, you're way out there somewhere. So let's get you in. But that's what this is speaking of, is that it's not about containing our vibration. It's about making a decision as to what the frequency is, right? In those times when I was outside the car, it was chaos and order and not in tune with a higher vibrational of peace and joy. It's important for us to know that we are the catalyst to the vibration, not only that we are emitting, but also how we're choosing to experience what is coming into our world. In other words, it's important to be the change of our vibration. Now, we all think that Gandhi said, be the change, and he may have, but the exact quote from Gandhi tells us this, and I think it's important relative to the topic at hand. We but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, man meaning male, female, in between and beyond, as a man changes in his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. This is the divine mystery supreme. A wonderful thing it is and the source of our happiness. We need not wait to see what others do. What he's telling us is to take control, if that's the right word, I'm not sure it is, but make a decision, to make a choice as to how we show up in the world, and then to be open, to be willing, and to be ready. We've heard before what a closed mind is like, right? A closed mind is like a closed parachute, and an open mind is one that can receive more of its divinity. So today, as we all decide to awaken and to set the intention for the budding of our brilliance on our journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, let's remember that it's not just day by day, not just birthday by birthday, not just big world events by big world events, but moment by moment by moment. It's all happening through us. And to remember that the mechanical laws of nature, as Ernest Holmes tells us, are set and immutable. But the spontaneous recognition of these laws give us power to bring them into practical use in everyday life and experience. I've used this quote countless numbers of times. And this morning, as I was preparing for this, it was like I got hit over the head, like in that Acme commercial, or cartoon. It was like, oh my God, I just got that quote. Did I just get it? Yes, but I just got it at the consciousness from where I was at. And so I invite you to hear it anew as well. It's titled Spiritual Wisdom. And it tells us the mechanical laws of nature are set and immutable. They're not changing. But our spontaneous recognition of them then gives us the power to bring a practical use into everyday life and experience. He's telling us how to make a choice in those moments by moments by moments. And then to be ready, to be willing, and to be open as to how that shall manifest itself in our world. I have a longtime friend who's a spiritual teacher of mine and mentor and exceptional human being on this planet. And she had lived here for many years and then moved away, and now she's back. And I revel in the opportunity to get to see her and spend time with her. And we've been unable to figure out how to do that, calendaring, right? And she lives in West Hollywood, and all of a sudden she'll just show up and I'll see her and she'll be like, oh my God, the universe. I'm like, I know, right? And so then we'll text each other and say, I really miss you. We got to figure out how to see each other. And then we run into each other at the manicure salon, right? Or something along the lines. And the other morning, I knew she was out of town, and I had been busy and life was happening. And as I was getting ready to step out on my walk with my beloved Sweeney, I thought to myself, I so miss Laura. I want to connect with her. And 152 steps later, I round the corner, and who's there, right? It's her. And she said to me, I said, I was just thinking of you, and when I settled down, I was going to text you. And she goes, you don't have to text me to see me. And I said, what? And she goes, all you got to do is think it, and you manifest me. And I thought to myself, that's the mystery and the wonder of this teaching. That I will say for myself, so often I forget, and I'm sure many of us do. What we're called to do in this teaching is to constantly and consistently retune not only our vibration, but our thinking. To own and accept being a spiritual evolutionist. To tap into participating in spiritual evolution. From a class that I taught several years ago called Walking the Talk, we address spiritual evolution, and here's one of the definitions of it. Spiritual evolution is the philosophical, theological, esoteric, Jeroen's word, esoteric or spiritual idea that nature and human beings and or human culture evolve, either extending from an established cosmological pattern, an ascent, or in accordance with certain pre-established potentials. That's a lot, isn't it? But let's open it up. Spiritual evolution is the philosophical, we understand that. Theological, we understand that. Excuse me. Esoteric or spiritual idea that nature and human beings and or human cultures evolve. We know that's true. Would you not all agree that in the journey of your life and your awakening to how you use your mind, you've evolved? I'm looking for a yes. Yes, right? And that's extending from either some cosmological pattern, which means the universe is drawing us into that, right? Or in accordance with certain pre-established potentials. That's also a spiritual idea in that we have within us pure potentiality at all times. Pre-established? We'll let that go for a second. But we could look at it as pre-established as possibility, not pre-established as in defined moment by moment. Pre-established that we know is that the law of life is always responding to us by corresponding. There are principles of spiritual evolution, and I'm not going to go through each of them. I'll put it in our newsletter this week, but I want to highlight to you what they are. They're knowledge, awareness, wisdom, faith, hope, love, humility, forbearance, levity. Imagine if we were to choose one of those and focus on it for a day, and then the other and focus on it for the day, and make a decision to use our mind in a way to believe that whatever it is we desire has already happened, and that our role is to meet and greet it on the journey of our life, just as I met my dear friend Laura yesterday. So we get to ask ourselves today and the days before, how is spirit showing up in our life? How's the energy of the divine showing up in my life, and are we using it wisely? We've all been on a journey, and we will continue to stay on the journey. And we each have before us the opportunity to step into the unknown, because it's all unknown, while at the same time we have a consciousness that's there to reveal to us, through us, that which we desire to indeed know. I'm going to close with a quote from Paul S. Boynton titled, "Begin with Yes." As we step into the unknown, we discover in life that we can be fragile and strong and terrified and brave all at the same time. Thank you. Yaron is coming back to share another chosen song.
Thank you for the beautiful message. The sun came out, look. Abide with me, fast falls the eventide. The darkness deepens, Lord, with me abide. When others helpers fail and comforts flee, help of the helplessness abide with me. I need thy presence with every passing hour. What by thy grace can foil the tempter's power? Who like thyself my guide and stay can be? Through cloud and sunshine, Lord, abide with me. I fear no foe with thee at hand to bless. Hills have no weight, no tears, no bitterness. Where death is sting, where great thy victory. Triumph seal if thou abide with me. Oh, do thy voice be for my closing eyes. Shine through the gloom and point me to the skies. Heaven morning breaks and earth and shadows flee. In life and death, Lord, abide with me. Thank you.
We'll just pass them. I love that song. When you sent it to me earlier in the week, it's just.
It's a Billy Gaines, I didn't know about him. It was
I don't know who that is.
There's been a lot of people, but I heard Billy Gaines' version for it, and I was like, couldn't stop listening to it.
Yeah.
So,
So what's the title of the song?
Abide With Me.
Abide With Me by Billy Gaines is the version that we've done. So exceptional. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So wonderful. And once again, just exceptional to have you back.
Thank
So-
you. I wanted to freshen up my stock of songs, so it's always good to.
And it's good to be back in the room again, right? We've been here 2 weeks in a row.
Different energy.
I know, so it is good energy.
And Reverb and Travis.
I know. I love this room. I just love this room. Yes, Stephen.
Well, I think this recent birthday was a milestone one.
It was 92. Yeah.
I think we should all believe that every birthday is a
Yeah.
milestone, right? If one believes in the power of mind and chronology is important in mind, then I think when we celebrate our return around the sun, it should be a milestone, right? So, to that end, we have people that have birthdays coming up, so happy birthday, right? So, yes. So thank you all for being here today, and I know that you're welcome. What I was about to say, not to go off on a but I think I love about this room is the energy in it. You know, we were speaking of vibrational frequency, and clearly this room was designed to have the light in it the way it is, to have warmth in it. One of the things that I love about it, not denigrating any past environments that we as a community or other communities are in, is I personally never resonated with going in a theater in the morning. It was just dark. I always wanted light, and you come in here and there's just light. Even on a cloudy day, you know, it's light. I turned a lot of the lights off in here today. So it's light of visual, it's light of energy, but it's also light energetically. Right? And there's been some heavy stuff that's gone down in this room, but it's also filled with intent and love. And so I love that we get to contribute to that, and that other people come in and contribute to it. So not only are there services that take place in this room throughout the week, and there was a Shabbat on Friday night, but this room was used yesterday with tables set up in it and packing food for the homeless. And so right before we started service, in the back building, they were loading up cars with all of the sandwiches and bags and stuff to be distributed to those in need. And so I think that contributes to the energy of this room, that there's always intent and love. And I'm so happy that we get to participate in that and bring our energy. And that's true for those of you, whether you're in the room physically or a part of our community online. As a community, we are supported by all of your individual donations. And so I'd like to take a moment and provide an opportunity for that to happen. Wendy's going to, we can just pass it if you want, or if you want. So to support us financially, you can go to our website, CSL-LA.org. You can use our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, or be so kind to provide something to Wendy as she takes it around. And let's all know that we, as we give, we are extending love from our hand. Our founding minister, Dr. David Walker, used to say, one cannot give with a clenched fist. And so as we give today, we do that out of compassion and out of love, and also as from an understanding of the law of giving and receiving and reciprocity. So please affirm with me together. Today I give with an open mind and an open heart. I trust and know that as I give, I consciously participate in sharing in the good of the universe in every way. I'm grateful to be able to give and receive, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we will be back on June, the second weekend in June. And so for those of you who would love to, May, you're right, I missed a month. Time. Welcome to my world. Now you know why that realtor kept trying to get me in the car when I was in the passenger seat. May, we'll be back in May. And until then, we will continue online. Know that you are loved and celebrated just as you are in this very moment. And a big thank you to Travis for his guidance and help, support today. To Robert Hensley, who's taking care of us social media-wise from afar. He wasn't feeling well today, so I said, take care of yourself. A huge thank you to your Ron.
Thank you.
Yes. And a thank you to me, and to those that are serving our coffee, so we'll know Javier and Scott out there, and our guard at the gate, and enjoy the donuts that have been purchased for you to eat today. Please eat them. Travis's hand when I said donut. Please consume I'll just call them donuts because that's what they are. I won't define them as to their ingredients, and which I've been prone to do. I'd like to close with a meditation, if you're open for that. And then we're going to sing a song that we all know that I think is important. We decided to close with I Release and I Let Go today as a decision to let it be an intention for us. So here's going to be some people. So take a deep breath in by inhaling through our nose. We're going to do that to a count of 3. Hold for a count of 2 and exhale with an open mouth to the count of 3. I invite you to do that online as well, trusting you're in a safe space, not behind the wheel of an automobile as you're doing this. And if you are, please keep your eyes open. So let's inhale together. 1, 2, 3, holding, and exhaling. We repeat this as we inhale together. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. We choose to breathe in this manner for the purpose of reminding us of our ability to breathe. To have gratitude, to be thankful that we get to breathe. Remembering to continue to do so. So we inhale 1, 2, 3, and exhale. We also choose to be grateful that we have clean air to breathe. And if we're here in this room, to feel the energy of this room as we inhale. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. So, feeling the energy of aligning ourselves with our divine nature. We open. And receive. And remember. And so we choose to let today be the day that we have an awakening, just like Saint Hildegard did. And it's in this awakening that we allow the brilliance of the light of the divine to guide us. So in our mind's eye, we remember seeing the candle lit in the room today or online. And as I extinguish the candle in the room, it shall come to life in your own mind and being. And being grateful that we're imaginative beings, we now see this light within us and let it be the guide for us on our journey. And we set the intention to tune in to and to be a higher vibration to the best of our ability, moment by moment, expression by expression, and let go of anything that isn't this. And so as we let the light of God guide us, we let this acronym for light be present in our mind, living in God's healing truth. And the truth is, you're perfect. You're whole. You're complete as a divine being, just as you are. So we take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. And exhale. Bringing our awareness back into the room. And one more inhalation. Exhale. And sing along, releasing anything that's not this, along with your own.
I release, I let go, let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. That's I only am for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. It's why I'm only I'm for God. One more time. I release and I let go. Let my Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. This time I'm only I'm for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in my spirit. It's only I'm for God. One more time. I release and I let go. Let my spirit run my life. Its heart is open wide. Yes, it's only I'm for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. It's only I'm for God.
Thank you. You're welcome.